And we can't wait to show you. We're going to be doing videos to educate you on each workshop that you can watch before the actual workshop, so that you can just come in and enjoy. I've got my mom behind me, the other garden girl here at Milligers. And our most popular class, of course, is this jumbo one. And we're so excited that this is actually happening right now. And so we've been pulling all of the plants that are the options for your container, but we want to make sure that you know kind of some guidelines of how to be the most successful with your container for this year. So where do you want to begin?
Well, when you come in, the first thing to do, of course, is to check in. And someone will be at a station here in the greenhouse, and they will cross off your name and give you a red soul ticket that has your name on it, okay?
And a glass of wine.
Yeah, just to...
Let's get those creative juices flowing.
Get it
so
going.
That's a great, get here, check in. We have all different times for people to be able to come, so it's in kind of every 20-minute increment. Obviously, it's going to take you a little bit longer than 20 minutes to get this done, but that spaces it out enough so that we have enough time to be able to talk with you, make sure that you're happy with your selections, and it doesn't get too congested in here.
Right. So you will have signed up for either the water saver pot, which looks like this, and it does have a reservoir that holds over a gallon of water, so that if you tend to be gone on the weekends or you're not the best water, this is a nice option for you. So you either have the water saver or our standard fiber pot, which looks like this. And they are both the same size, but like I said, we want one.
Just different options.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So the first thing you want to do is notice that your basket has a number attached to it. This is your claim check. So this is what you need to pick up your basket when it's time to put it outdoors. So you want to detach one of the numbers, take a picture of it, or put it behind your driver's license or someplace where you're not going to lose it.
Someplace safe. You see it's perforated, so you're going to get one number, we have one number, and they're all hanging in numerical order. So all of the fiber ones generally will be on the east side of the greenhouse. All of the water saver ones will be on the west side of the greenhouse. So they're on different sides.
And then the next thing you want to do is take your soul ticket with your name on it as a double check and balance and attach that to the bottom of the container. Now, you may not think it's important, but we have people come in, they don't know what their number is, and when there's 800 baskets here, nobody wants to look through all those baskets trying to find your basket.
Absolutely not. So there's two ways to be able to make sure that you're getting the correct basket. One is with your one is with your number, and one is with your sold ticket. And then when you leave, we will also have you sign out in our book here, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's like this, and it will have the date of when the workshop is. You want to sign in right where your basket, with the correct corresponding basket number to the one that you have, with your last name, your first name, your phone number, and we've also added your email so that we can contact you either way. So do not leave the workshop until so you've got to sign in and you have to sign out, okay? Then this is just all that we can do to make sure that everyone's going home with their own creation, okay? All right, so let's get into the fun stuff when we get to actually plant and make our selection.
Well, you first need to think about where the basket is going. Now, sometimes they're hung, but they're very large and they're very heavy, and oftentimes people will choose to set them on a tree stump or set them in a large
you can see this one here that we have these plant stands, and we have more on order. And maybe we'll have a little sign-up list here tonight if you want to be notified when those come in. But this is great because, like my mom said, the baskets can get really heavy, and a lot of times people like to just drop them into a plant stand like this or an actual container that you have.
And the reason we talk about that is because you want to be thinking about how you're going to view the flowers. So are you going to look down on them, or are you going to look up at them? That will make a little bit of difference in your plant selection. You also need to be thinking about the location, whether you're in sun or shade. And most annuals are pretty forgiving. They grow pretty much anywhere except to say that the sun plants bloom better in the sun. So the ones that say full sun, we're talking at least a half a day of sun. Probably that
6 hours.
yeah, hot afternoon sun is probably what we're thinking. But they will also go on the east side. But the shade plants are predominantly east side, north side. Should we start with sun or?
Wherever your heart desires. Now, how about when they're going back there and picking out their sun or shade? How will they know?
Oh, it's time for the flag. Okay, so sun is all the things that are marked with the yellow flags. Shade is blue. And then if it has 2 flags in it, it means you don't really need to worry. It's going to
It'll grow anywhere.
Sun or shade.
Like our
Right.
beloved dragon wing that we'll talk about in a little
And
bit.
when you're in doubt, all you need to do is ask us, and we can tell you from personal experience what we find to be the best for any plant. So this is the Magic 7 container. It's really hot in here
I'm
today.
not used to this. I was gonna say.
7 plants is the rule. Now, you do not need 9. You don't need 10. I've seen people try to jam 11 in there. This is
Don't do it.
this is not the best for the plants. If you use more than 7, you need to pay for the upcharge.
And if you didn't, we'll take one out for you.
Yeah, we are the plant police. Okay.
But like she said, it's really, I know when people are doing the containers, sometimes it's hard to imagine and you want it to be full and lush right now. But remember that we're going to be growing these in the greenhouse for you until the end of May. So they need some space to be able to grow in and fill in. They're just like a little pet, they're a little baby, and they're going to be growing every day here in the greenhouse. So we want to make sure that they have good space and ample root system.
So we're recommending 1 in the center and 6 around. Now those 6 plants can be 6 different selections, so you have a beautiful mixed container, or they can be 3 groups of 2, so you have a very balanced, symmetrical presentation. So then you would just put them, look at like a clock, you just work them around.
Or you could do, there's so many different colors of our calibrachoa. So again, being balanced is important. So maybe you do one color over here and then you do another color on this side. So they will have the same habit, but
Yeah, maybe not.
well,
Well,
there
this
you
is
go.
the other
So you
one.
could do another calibrachoa on the other side, or 2 opposite lantanas, 2 opposite verbenas, so that you have that balance. But if you're doing it actually in one of your containers or you're dropping it in one of these plant stands, if it's up against the house, the layout might be a little bit different too. Maybe this side doesn't have anything trailing because it's actually against the house, and you have more trailing here. Or you could have them all trailing and then just kind of rotate it, every week or 2.
So let's talk about a center plant, and we have lots of wonderful choices for that.
Your thriller.
Our probably favorite is the dragon wing begonia, and we have talked about this for over 20 years now. Want to talk about it
I was
again?
waiting to hear your words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Well, the exciting thing about this is one of those that will grow anywhere. So sun or shade. We have the beautiful rich red color. There's a pink, and then we also have a white now. And sometimes when you're looking at them, when they're younger, the flower color isn't exactly true to what it will be when it's an adult. So this pink is a little bit lighter than it will be. It will be a little bit more richer pink, but it is kind of that salmony pink color. And then the red and the white, these are great centerpieces, and they will grow in sun or shade.
And they do, they come
You'll
and
get
they
better.
arch out over the
Yes.
top of the basket. So they do not cover up anything else. They just kind of become an umbrella. And there's a new variety that we have that we just introduced last year, but we loved it. And that is this Viking series of explorers. And they bloom like no other begonia that I've seen.
And this one's a little bit more compact. So if you maybe tried Dragon Wing and you thought maybe it got too big for the container, this could be another great option. This one will be closer to like 20 to 24, so it can still go in the center, but it will just be, a little bit more compact. So that is a great centerpiece. Another really popular one that people had great success with is part of the, I mean, this looks like a New Guinean Patience, right? But this is actually the sun patience, and this will grow in full the part sun, but the variegation is really pretty. This is the compact tropical rose, and so people really love that color. That could be one that could go in the center if you're looking for a bloomer. If you're looking for maybe something different than just using like spikes are okay. You can always put a spike in the center. But this is a beautiful grass. This juncus is a little less aggressive in the container. We also have celosia. So this is a great blooming option. And when we are thinking about putting this container together, we always talk about size, color, texture, and shape. So here, you know, we're getting a great color option, but the texture of a celosia, there's nothing like it, right? So being able to couple that with some of the combinations here is really unique and different. Now, there are some things, and there we do get some requests for a cordyline, something that's different than just a traditional green spike. These are a little bit more expensive, so you certainly can use them, but you just pay for the upgrade, okay? So this is a $10 plant instead of an $8 plant, so you'll just pay the difference on that, okay? This is the Red Star cordyline, and the reason these are just more expensive because they're extremely slow growing, so we have been growing these for a long time.
Yeah, last summer they were started, so
Yeah.
it's been a long time.
Last summer, can you believe
So when we think about the kind of like the workhorses of the garden, or if you're thinking, well, my basket has never been all that great. If you're looking for the no-fail, the best ever plants, they are going to be the Calibrachoa and the petunias, and no, probably
You'll see a
Scaevola.
big, healthy selection. Like when you go back there to pick out your plants, the majority of them will be in the Dutch greenhouse. That's where you're coming, right in the back. And when you see a large selection of colors of one plant, that tells you that that is a very successful plant. So here, you know, this is the beautiful Calibrachoa that she was talking about, and this comes in every color of the rainbow. We have pinks, we have reds, we have yellows, purples, bicolors, all sorts of different options, oranges. I know people, orange is a really big trend right now. So this is a beautiful, this dreamsicle super bells is really pretty. And it looks great with purples and even the pinks together.
So if we set those across from each other, since they're going to have the same habit.
They do. And in the center here, we have an Angelonia, okay? And this cascading one is a little bit softer, a little more gentle. And we also have ones that are more straight upright also. So we've got those. And then this is a brand new one. This is called Pink Lemonade, Super Bell's Pink Lemonade, which I think is really pretty. And we always talk about letting one material lead you to another. So this is going to be a fun one to play with because we have the pinks. There's a little bit of rich, kind of deep purple in the center. And then also the yellows. There's a little bit of white. Lots of fun options and different directions that you can go with that.
Okay, so maybe three like this, and then this being the petunia.
So this is a brand new petunia for us, and if you've ever tried the Vista series of petunias, they're generally in different amount pinks and whites and things like that, and this is a brand new Vista mini yellow. So Vistas are known, they're in the Supertunia family. They're going to be very aggressive, so they're going to get big. They are loaded with blooms, and they're low maintenance, but they are heavy feeders, and we'll talk about that in a little bit also. Who isn't a heavy feeder? I'm a heavy feeder.
Yeah, I know. We all like to eat, right? So then I think we'll do some, another habit, maybe the Scaevola, which again, this is kind of a sleeper because it doesn't look so grand when you first see it at this time of year, but it's a very rugged plant and it is always in bloom, very wind tolerant. So that is one of the purples. Another option might be to repeat that purple color with the verbena and put that on the back side.
And this one is called Violet Ice. And so this is a newer coloration for us. And so it's a little bit different than the traditional purple that maybe you've used before because it has that little white center in it, which I think is really nice and unique. When she was talking about the Scaevola or the fan flower, like here's the white one, all right? So if you were just walking down there and trying to get inspired for picking your container, this may not speak to you right away. but it does really, really well in containers. So like I said, if we have it back there, it's because we know that you're going to be successful with it.
So for other trailing things, we want to be sure we have enough things that hang over the pot. We have lots of options from the traditional ivies, which will grow in sun or shade, as well as like this is alternanthera, which we don't see very often. We're one of the few people that grow it.
That's kind of a pretty leaf. And then I did pull some of the sweet potato vines, and I definitely recommend doing some options and varieties that are a little less aggressive, like that margarita. That lime green color is so beautiful, but sometimes it can take over the entire container. So this one's called Solar Powered Lime, which where you get that nice pop of color, but it's not going to eat up your entire container. Or this Spotlight Black. This is, again, a little less aggressive, that it will kind of play well with others in the container. If you're looking for that bright color, Lysomachia is another great option. And so this one's called Goldilocks. And I'm sure you've seen us. We use this a lot in our containers and in our hanging baskets. So that would be a nice pop of color in here.
So
all of these are going to trail.
Right. So when we're setting this out, we don't want to start taking everything out of the container until we're ready to plant, because you might change your mind as to the placement, because we're probably not going to put this yellow next to this yellow. So it's probably going to be opposite. So as you play around with it, if you leave them in the containers, you won't disturb the root system.
Oh, how about Mizu? That's a great foliage one. So looking for an upgrade maybe to Vinca Vine. Mizu is a great one. It kind of feels like a succulent, and this is very tolerant of dry conditions, hot and sunny locations, and it does get a kind of a cute little fuchsia reddish pinky flower, kind of a, I know you can see it in this picture here when you look at it, but this has been really popular. We grow as much as we can, and it just seems every year this is a sellout because people come back for it and they've been really happy with it.
So should we set up a shade one?
Sure. Okay. So you can set your containers up like this. You can even have us come by and say, you know, does this combination look right? Is there anything you would change? What are your recommendations? And we'll guide you through that. And then once it's ready to do, and we give it the thumbs up, you're going to want to be very careful because these plants are young, and we want to be able to just give them a little squeeze, okay? And they're going to come right out of the container. We want to keep all of these roots intact, so we don't want to do any scoring of the roots. We do not want to just kind of lift this plant out of the container because you'll just detach it from the roots, and it's not going to look good then. So keep it in place, and that's why your basket is not all the way full to the top of soil, okay? So you should be able to just kind of set this into place, and then you'll have another little pot of soil next to your basket where we can fill in with it, okay? Nice and gentle and loose. It doesn't need to be, we're not making a mud pie here, okay? So we'll keep it nice and loose so that we get good drainage also. So now we're moving on to another option, and do you want to explain why?
Well, before we go to shade, I thought we would mention that geraniums are kind of like the prima donnas, and they are fabulous, wonderful plants. There are even books written about the joy of geraniums, but they don't play so well with others. And when they're put with other plants, they tend to kind of shrink up and they don't perform as well. In fact, they will appear to get actually smaller in the container. So we're saying either keep all the geraniums together with just a very unobtrusive vine like a Vinca vine, or something that doesn't, like the sweet potato vine is going to be far too aggressive.
Yes.
So
or
that
an
would,
ivy.
yeah,
Ivies are always really pretty.
Ivy is beautiful, and so that is another option. Of course, we grow more geraniums than anything else.
The queen of the garden, but gosh, they look beautiful together, don't they? And then the ivy types, I find that the ivy types do work in well with other plants. This one we're particularly partial to because this is called Sophie, and we named our daughter after this one, Sophie Cascade. And so it's just beautiful and very, very easy to take care of, not the deadheading that's required with regular geraniums. So you could put that in your regular combination. Oh, there she is. So this is another upgrade option. The mandavillas are just a little bit more, or the dipladenias, kind of, they're all in the same family now. But this is an option that you could put in the center. It comes in reds, all different shades of pinks, whites, and these are located in the geranium greenhouse.
No deadheading ever, in bloom constantly until frost. This is a winner.
Sorry, I put that down below. So now we're going to the Shady Ladies. And again, look for them with the blue tag, okay, the blue flags. And so maybe we want to throw in this brand new begonia in there. Browalia, okay, we're looking for that size, color, texture, shape. Those are your keys. Some beautiful fuchsia. We've got some options here. This is called Autumn Now, so this is a great variegated option that could be put in here into place. I think this is the best our fuchsia has ever looked. So there's lots of great options here, but again, remember, we're at least a month early here. So we don't want them to be big and full and blooming already, because then by the time you pick up your container, you won't have the opportunity to enjoy those. So that's something that could be in place. The ivies are always really pretty in here, depending on where you want to have that. What else did you grab for shade? Oh,
well,
here's
the impatiens would be the number one. Impatiens and begonias, those are the major ones. And we also have coleus, and I mean, we're growing, 2,000 varieties here, and so it was impossible to bring them all in. And I guess
little blue Terenia, that's another option. But all those begonias and impatiens are here in this greenhouse, so it'll be super easy for selection. And again, we can guide you. Watch for those tags. But before you come, make sure that you kind of have an idea of where you want to put this basket. Is it going to be sun? Is it going to be shade? Is it going to be hanging? Is it going to be dropped into a container? Just so that we can kind of make a good decision on what you're going to be putting into it.
Yeah, and keep in mind that many of the shade plants are not particularly trailing. Begonias and impatiens, for the most part, want to be a little more upright. And so you're going to need some either trailing greenery, or if you're looking at it from above, it doesn't make so much difference. But if it's hanging up, you don't want to have everything all in the top row and nothing concealing your container.
And then what about eating?
Well, we have one food of choice, and that is this Algo Plus. It's all organic. This makes 100 gallons. So for most people, if you fertilize, you mix a capful in a gallon of water. You put that on every Saturday morning or once a week somehow, and you will have the best results you've ever had.
Absolutely.
You would phenomenal. Now, it's so diluted that you can do it every time you water, but that's a lot of expectation. So a lot of people are just watering with a hose, but once a week, a good fertilizer is a must. That's a totally different result you're going to get from fertilizing as opposed to not. And
everybody likes to eat, right? We're all happier. We don't want our plants to be hangry. And so when they're here at Milliger's, they're on a constant feed. They're always getting fed. And so we don't want to send them home and then they only get water for the rest of the summer. What would you look like if you only had water for the rest of the summer? Okay, not good. So we want to do the same thing with taking care of our plants and making sure, like I said, once a week, just have that be part of your routine, and you'll be so rewarded for keeping up on that.
So when the weather you're confident that it's warm enough, it should be the middle of May to the end of May, then you can come into the greenhouse where all the bedding plants are and just tell someone here, you're here to pick up your basket. And you come back into this house where you created it, and they will check off your name and your number, and
you have to sign out.
Someone will get your basket down from where it's hanging up. And then you'll be able to check out. But don't forget that there are lots of fabulous workshops going on, and you can make this particular basket if you decide you want to do another one. Some people do 5 of these, and they come through all the sessions. But we're doing succulents, we're doing Mother's
Lots
Day
of
out,
creative
we're doing
containers and different things like that. Yeah, the little turtles bag.
yeah.
Lots
So-
of fun stuff. So check out our website, or you can grab a seminar schedule right up at the registers. But all the pictures and everything are on our website and our Facebook page. And we will see you soon.